Hey guys, today with the topic, why do I generalize the no contact? Why do I say, that is the best way, although I also say more often that there are others and the no contact in 9 of 10 cases is only recommended. Quite simply, it's like people who give a movie or a meal only 9 out of 10 stars, because there always has to be an improvement somehow, but can recommend the thing to everyone who hears about it without reservation. It is so that one is completely emotionally worn out after a separation. Especially if you are looking for such videos. There you will also find umpteen other channels about it, all of which tell you again and again new ways and ways that tell a possibility on X back, recommend and explain. But it's like in the fitness world. You can find 10,000 different exercises how to train your biceps and they are all great. It's all about overload and what you eat. So you can't go wrong with a basic exercise. With special stuff, where beginners have to really feel their muscle first. A mind-muscle connection would have to have, someone will not yet grasp or have success with it, even if it is generally still such a good exercise and idea. It's only useful when you have a bit of experience and the basic physical requirements. Just like you can train too much and too little. Back to the topic of X. Back. You want so much at once in your current state, with your low self-worth, your emotionality, and the fear of loss, that you can actually only mess it up if you approach the matter alone and pick out the mega super miracle plan for your situation, which of course promises direct success, but you decide for it yourself and try to execute it even before you are ready for it. It's generally a bad idea. You are not in a position to decide what to do, let alone to think clearly and to assess yourself and your ex correctly. And I'm not saying this to put you down, I'm telling you this because you need a healthy middle ground that puts you in the best possible position to do this. And the best possible position is this: you don't let the attraction towards you sink even further, you don't discuss your ex's feelings, because you always lose with that and you bring yourself to a point where you can think clearly again. If you act alone and I do not stand behind you or learn every step from you, make you understand what was now actually the real problem and how you have to proceed now exactly. Then you need a general plan to achieve this, and I give you with the no contact, in which you build up and wait for her message with interest in you. Real interest. You are welcome to watch the video, How Do I Correctly Assess the Interest of Others? In the meantime, be friendly and adult towards her. Adult also means that you stand by your current position, and that is the no contact, if she wants small shit and attention from you. But I've already said enough about that. Hopefully you know my no contact policy. If I put the word on my channel, there are 40 videos alone and at least 2 of them describe it exactly. You don't ignore because it's childish crap. If you want it back or sometime decide from a neutral position, of course. Otherwise, nice that you give yourselves the video, then continue to enjoy the sound of my voice, maybe that alone helps. Hee hee. So. I don't want to give out any tips here that the majority of you will probably include in your considerations in addition to no contacting, because they are just too blatant cherry picking. There may be videos along these lines in the future. I promised you that I will give you my complete knowledge here and not hold anything back. But this will happen under a disclaimer, and I guarantee for absolutely nothing. The best way, if you listen to me, that makes sense to you and I can't hold my hand on it myself and see every action of you and the ex, which is going on quasi-live after the separation, is the optimal position, which I just described. It is feasible for everyone and will bring you to the point where you can appear to her again in an undemanding manner and where you have the best chance that she will develop an interest in you again of her own accord, which you can then use for your benefit at the moment of the message. It doesn't matter if you were blocked, how much you did wrong, and how obvious this step actually is. The only thing I can't tell you is what your chances are, but nobody can anyway. There are a few candidates where I directly say, maybe you better look at the Let Go videos, but they have mostly really messed up and are still hoping around. In general, it is an absolute must that you don't work towards day X afterwards. Or maybe keep day X just out of reach and don't set it. Because that always throws you back and you don't actively wait for your ex. That just doesn't make sense, that just limits yourself. But back to the topic at hand. Generalizing this, writ large, this no contact policy. There are so many types out there, and the sense may be somewhere in the heads of those who give this out as generalizing info, but the fact is, do they all do an ignoring no contact for 30 days or 14 days? Yes, some exes won't notice, others will write to you when you would have had another chance and get mad because you act like the last fool. To generalize would be bullshit. But I count on the fact that you concentrate on you until they get in touch of their own accord. So long goes first your no contact. Then you assess whether it is something organizational, whether they are slowly getting closer again, or whether there is real interest. And then you reflect that, because if you freak out too much you will only scare her off again or come across as totally unworldly. After that you usually just continue where you left off before. Again the focus on you and only at the next contact the same game. Unless she has really fired you up, she has an indirect direct approach, or she has brought a lot of investment. Then you can aim for a meeting. But that's already very advanced and there's already a video about it. But you see, that has somewhere all hand and foot and prevents exactly that you build stupid irrational crap. You may have only one chance, and that only if you are already so far yourself, b your status as a man is not too much affected with her, and c you are again able to build on their approaches, if you can call it that. You will have to go through a lot of shit tests if she is serious about you. You have to pay attention to a lot of things, but that's partly through your self-worth and how you suddenly react to other people with a frame that should be an absolute priority for you. And in general, not just to your ex. On every new date, on the grandma at the bus stop, the saleswoman at the bakery, the colleague, it doesn't matter, you get used to a way of dealing with other people that wasn't there before. You don't just assess the interest of your ex, you do that with everyone, and if you don't invest enough, you can't expect anything from them. These are just basic things that can be applied to everyone, and even if it sounds a bit generic and you could read about it on the internet, I usually don't find it, at least not in one breath. And if, then for the wrong reasons. Based on the wrong mindset. Unfortunately, these are not basic things, because hardly anyone acts on them. This is my way for you. With this you will get further for yourself and have the best chance for X back on your own. But it also leads through yourselves. And nobody says that it is easy, even if I always put it in such short videos. Have read the other day that it always sounds so easy with others. For example, on the Discord server. That's simply because the guys have already started down the path and slowly brought their focus and work on themselves to the point where they suddenly look at it all from a completely different point of view. That's the beginning. Come you times with the method to the point, and that goes relatively fast compared to letting go itself or X back. But that concerns evenly the large mass. Had also already people who have not noticed at all that the X has actually directed an incomplete cry for help to them, there was jealous and one would have had to act only correctly, then one would have had her back as needy as one was shortly after the separation itself. But that is also the complete exception, and when I say something like that, everyone comes running back and thinks they would be the exception of the exception and would have to step on the gas even more and do even more. But it's about interpreting signs from a neutral position, with a little experience, that you don't even notice in the situation. I would not have with my ex, with the knowledge right now possibly also. That I could bring myself down better, sure. But I would be so invested and would not know what my emotions would have done with me. It's just nonsense to unpack the special tactics myself and want to tackle. Then you'd better take the safer way, which won't break you into 1,000 pieces inside. Because if there is nothing left of you, she will not want you back. Take care and see you in the next video.